I'm Liz from Soul Care Psychology, and this short video is on behaviour change. In it, I will outline 10 steps to behaviour change, and you can apply these to yourself if you're wanting to change a particular behaviour, or you can adapt it as a parent to children if you're trying to help your children change behaviour. This is just a brief video. It's part of a parenting series if you're wanting to know more information, or part of an addiction series if you're wanting more information there. So this is just an outline that might be able to help you begin the steps, or at least know what you're in for if you are trying to change your behaviour. A lot of people try to change behaviour through pure grit, and it often doesn't work. So the basic steps of behaviour change or behaviour modification are: number one, identify the behaviour. So there might be a few behaviours you want to change, but really we are much better if it's just one at a time, that we're identifying one behaviour that we're going to really focus on and work on, whether this is in yourself or in a child. Pick one that's going to make the most amount of difference, that you might be able to bring some change in. So identify the behaviour you want to change. I know it's a simple step. Step two is list the reasons. You can do this in your own journal or a notebook or in your phone. List the reasons that you actually want to change this behaviour. So this forms a basis of motivation. And so I encourage people to keep writing the list, and over days you might be thinking about changing behaviour, more ideas might come to you about why you actually do want to change this behaviour. Think about the benefits of, and how your life will be once this behaviour is no longer a problem for you. So you might think of the mood differences, you might think of financial differences, you might think of health differences, you might think, if it's a parenting issue, you might think how much better sleep you'll be getting, or you might be thinking how much more comfortable you will be going out in public when your child doesn't behave in a certain way, or even you'll be less worried as a parent because you might notice that this behaviour has been getting worse. But really milk all of the reasons why you're actually wanting to modify or change this behaviour, because behaviour change can be difficult. So the more reasons we've got, we focus on those, and it gives you more encouragement on the journey. So number three is identify why you engage in this behaviour. Now, sometimes the reason you might have started a behaviour is not the reason you continue. So it might have been you started it, when you were younger and wanted to have fun, and now you know it's addictive or it's costing you a lot of money and you don't want to do it anymore. But identify the reasons maybe you started and the reasons why you continue. It might be something like overeating, and it does it to reduce stress or to distract yourself from other problems. So identify why you are doing this behaviour. And if you're relating it to a child, try to say, why are they doing this behaviour? What are they getting out of it? And what is the need that they are trying to express in this behaviour? And a lot of time as parents, if we can have a look at a behaviour and think what need is being expressed, it gives us keys to what we need to change so that the child doesn't engage in that behaviour. So yes, step three is identify why you do the behaviour, what it does for you. Step four is identify alternatives to that behaviour. So if it's a habit that you've got and you don't want to do it, decide what you're going to do instead, and replace the bad behaviour or the behaviour you don't want to engage in with a more positive behaviour. So if it is, say, even if it's like eating certain foods, decide what foods you're going to eat instead. If it's, you get stressed and you might yell and you want to change that behaviour, it's like, I'm going to go for a walk. If you drink alcohol and it helps you unwind at the end of the day, you need to identify something else that will help you unwind at the end of the day, whether it be going for a walk or going and having a sauna or doing something else that's proactive, rather than just leave a void and be really hanging out for that thing that you're changing. If it's with a child and you're wanting to change your behaviour, identify other things that they could do and practice that with them, because little people often won't just do what, you might need to practice it when they're not in that situation, so that they remember to do it when they are. And role playing with them and going along with that. Number 5, and this is, I would say this is a key component that a lot of people don't do, and then it leads to lack of success. So number 5 is what we call a baseline monitor. So I want you to, over the course of a week, or if your behaviour you want to change doesn't happen weekly, over the course of a month, identify when you're doing that behaviour, how often you are doing it, how many times you're doing it. So if it is, say it was you want to give up, or you want to reduce alcohol, or you want to give up smoking, you record how many cigarettes you have and when, and so that's a daily tally. If it's drinking, it's when in the week that you're drinking and how many drinks that you have. And then you have a look at the times of the day that you're doing the behaviour. Have a look at any other contextual cues that you're doing. If it is overeating or eating bad food, it's like, when is it? When are you getting that takeaway? Is there certain days of the week that are harder than others? So it's really monitoring your baseline to see how often you're doing the behaviour and when it is one of the keys to success, if not the top key to success, so that you can see where your high risk times are and what you've got to replace it with. So an example of that would be if you want to give up Macca's and you find actually you usually get it on the way home from work when you probably haven't eaten enough during the day and you've still got a drive time and it's going to be a while till you eat dinner. And so one of the strategies for that is having food in the car, ready to go, like non-perishable food, muesli bars or something other than McDonald's, that can help tide you over till you get home. Or taking more food to work that's healthy so that you can have a snack at 4 o'clock before you do the drive time home or the train trip home. So that's just an example of knowing when your triggers are on your high risk times. We can develop strategies, and you can develop strategies on what to do instead for those times, so you're planning for success. Planning for success is step number 6. So this is looking at the high risk times and having alternatives available. It's also getting rid of anything related to the thing that you want to change. And so that might be getting rid of food out of the cupboard. It might be getting rid of the substance that you don't want to engage in. It might be getting rid of any implements related to the substance. So, if somebody is a drug user and they've got, certain equipment that they use to take those drugs, get rid of it, so that it's not easily on hand and you're much more likely to be successful. If you're addicted to gambling or addicted to social media and you're wanting to change that, get rid of the apps on your phone. Get the easy access to that thing that you are wanting to change, and set yourself up for success with good sleep, good nutrition. Exercise will always help you manage behaviour change a lot easier. So for children, it would be set them up for success. So if they're having tantrums in the morning and you're wanting to change that, it's like you might have to change your morning routine so that it's a lot less likely that they'll have a tantrum. So have a look at setting yourself up for success is step number 6. Step number 7 is develop some rewards. Now, in behaviour change, there's a 3-day hump, a 10-day hump, a 3-week hump. So once you've over the 3 weeks, it gets a lot easier. And then it takes about 3 months to solidify a habit. So once you've done something for 3 months, it's really, you're over it. You've established a new routine and new better habits. And you do have to plan for relapse or times of stress. But one of the keys on the way is rewards. So reward yourself. So and you've got to think of a reward after 3 days, after 10 days, and after 3 weeks that will help you overcome that little hurdle. So that, or for your children, identify rewards for them at 3 days, 10 days, 3 weeks. A lot of parents, when we're doing behaviour change, like sleeping in beds or different things, they actually give up at around that 2-week mark when they think, it's not working. And if they just hung in there for another week, it may possibly work. Because sometimes with children, behaviours get worse before they get better. So there's more. If you are after information about behaviour change in children, I've got a whole workshop on that in my parenting series. So you might need to watch that rather than just this brief video. So number 8 is go. Decide on when you're going to start this behaviour change, set a date and start it. Then number 9 is review, see how you're going. Now some people want to cut down, and so their goal is not to quit something, it's just to do it less. They might want to quit drinking during the week, but they're happy to just drink on Friday and Saturday nights, or it might be that they want to not smoke at all, and so that's complete abstinence. And so review how you're going. Some people are better when they go cold turkey and go abstinent, but some people say with smoking, a lot of people need to cut down before they can give up. And so reviewing is doing another baseline and going, okay, well, I used to be smoking, like over the course of a week, I might have, had like 140 cigarettes if you're smoking 20 a day, and now I'm still smoking, but I'm only having like 50 over the whole week. So then you can pat yourself on the back and go, I'm making some progress, and then you can fine tune it a bit more. If it is a matter of you're doing really well, but sometimes you slip up, have a look at the days that you slip up or the circumstances that you slip up, and set yourself up for success by developing strategies around those key times. If your children are still having tantrums, reviewing is really important, because it might have been that they've gone from having 10 a week to actually now they're only having 3. And if you didn't do the review, if you didn't do the baseline, you'd be thinking, well, it's not working, they're still having tantrums, but actually they've reduced it significantly. And if you just keep doing what you're doing, they should be eliminated. And so number 9 is review, and then number 10 is about relapse. So there's a lot of behaviours, especially addictive behaviours, that relapse is a part of the cycle. And so you need to plan for relapse, what you're going to do, how you're going to pick yourself back up, what you're going to say to yourself, and learn from it. Learn what were the situations or the circumstances which were involved in that relapse. Was it catching up with somebody that you hadn't seen for a while, and because they were eating bad and you ate bad, or they were drinking, you were drinking, or they were using drugs, you were taking drugs? Not that we blame them, but we can know that that's a tough time for us if our friends are using the substances or the eating the food that we don't want to eat. And so then we can use the relapses as a stepping stone to success and learn from it so that you know better next time. So that's just a brief outline, 12 minutes worth of the 10 steps to behaviour change. I do have a whole workshop on that I include in my parenting series, and even more in my my addiction program. So hopefully that will be beneficial, and keep trying to change those behaviours that you want to change, and I hope this was helpful. See you next time.